New York City. Madison Square Garden backstage area. August 3, 1995. Thursday evening, 7:45 p.m. The second annual Source Awards. The air is electric with tension, thick enough to choke on. This is not just an awards show. This is a powder keg. East Coast versus West Coast. Bad Boy versus Death Row. Biggie versus Tupac. The entire hip-hop world is watching, waiting for the explosion everyone knows is coming. The backstage hallway is narrow, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead, casting harsh shadows. Security guards line the walls, tense, hands near their weapons. There have already been 3 confrontations tonight. Shoving matches. Threats. The energy is violent, tribal, dangerous. This is not celebration. This is war barely contained by venue walls and metal detectors. Tupac Shakur is walking down this hallway. He is 24 years old, 5 feet 9 inches, 165 pounds of concentrated rage and pain. He is wearing all black. Black jeans, black shirt, black Timberlands, black bandana. His thug life tattoo is visible below his shirt. His eyes are different than they were a year ago. Harder. Colder. The light behind them has been replaced by something darker. Something that looks like betrayal calcified into fury. He has just been released from prison 8 months ago. 11.5 months for sexual assault, a charge he maintains was false. 8 months of being locked in a cage, vulnerable, powerless. 8 months of thinking about who put him there. Who set him up. Who betrayed him. And in Tupac's mind, there is one name that keeps appearing. Christopher Wallace. The Notorious B.I.G. Biggie. His former friend. His former brother. Walking beside Tupac is Suge Knight, 6 feet 4 inches, 315 pounds, CEO of Death Row Records. Suge is wearing a red suit, red everything, West Coast colors, a middle finger to everyone in this New York building who represents East Coast dominance. Suge bailed Tupac out of prison in exchange for a 3-album deal. Suge gave Tupac freedom, resources, a platform for revenge. And Tupac has been using it. His new album, All Eyes on Me, drops in 6 months. It will be a declaration of war. But tonight, before the album, before the strategy, there is just this moment. This hallway. This confrontation that has been building for 10 months. November 30th, 1994. 10 months earlier. Quad Recording Studios, Manhattan. Tupac was there to record a verse for Little Sean, an artist managed by his friend Randy "Stretch" Walker. It was supposed to be a normal session. Routine. But when Tupac entered the building lobby, 3 men were waiting. They were not there for autographs. They were there with guns. They shot Tupac 5 times. Twice in the head. Once in the groin. Twice in the arm and leg. They took his jewelry. $40,000 worth. Then they ran. Tupac, bleeding, barely conscious, dragged himself into the elevator, rode it to the studio floor and collapsed. The first people he saw when the elevator doors opened? Puff Daddy. Biggie Smalls. Andre Harrell. All of them in the studio Tupac was supposed to record in. All of them clean. Unharmed. Not shot. Not robbed. Just standing there. In that moment, bleeding on the studio floor, Tupac's mind made connections that would never be undone. Why were they not touched? Why were they in the building during an armed robbery? Why did the shooters know exactly when Tupac would arrive? Why did they only target him? In the hospital, recovering from surgery, tubes in his body, pain in every nerve, Tupac constructed a narrative. Biggie knew. Puffy knew. They set him up. They wanted him gone. Jealousy. Competition. East Coast protecting its throne. The narrative might not be true. There is no evidence Biggie was involved. But truth and belief are different things. And Tupac believed. That belief became certainty. That certainty became rage. That rage became Hit 'Em Up, the most vicious diss track in hip-hop history. But that song has not been released yet. Tonight is before the song. Tonight is the last moment where conversation is still possible. Where explanation could still matter. Where 2 former friends could still, theoretically, reconcile. Biggie Smalls is also backstage. He is in a different hallway, a different section, surrounded by Bad Boy Records people. Puffy. Junior MAFIA security. Biggie is 23 years old, 6 feet 3 inches, 395 pounds. He is wearing a white suit, white hat, looking like money, looking like success. His album Ready to Die dropped last year. It went platinum. He is the king of East Coast hip-hop. The next great lyricist. The heir to Nas and Rakim. He is winning. But he is also terrified. Because his former friend, his former collaborator, the man he used to stay up all night with talking about revolution and poetry and changing hip-hop, now wants him dead. And Biggie does not understand why. He was not involved in the shooting. He loved Tupac. They were brothers. But Tupac will not listen. Tupac will not return calls. Tupac has gone public, telling magazines that Biggie knew about the shooting. And Biggie cannot defend himself without looking weak, without breaking street code by pleading innocence. So he is trapped. Blamed for something he did not do, unable to prove it, watching his former friend become his mortal enemy. A member of Biggie's security team comes rushing over. Yo, Big Pac is here. He's looking for you. We gotta move you out of this area. Biggie shakes his head. Nah, I'm not running. If Pac wants to talk, we talk. I got nothing to hide. Puffy intervenes. Big, this is not smart. You know how he is right now. He's on some other shit. Let's just avoid the situation. But Biggie stands up. All 395 pounds. I said we talk. I'm not hiding from my brother. The words, my brother, hang in the air. Past tense? Present tense? No one knows anymore. Tupac turns a corner. And there, 20 feet away, standing in the middle of the hallway, is Biggie. They lock eyes. 10 months of silence. 10 months of accusations. 10 months of rage and hurt and confusion. Now compressed into this moment. This hallway. This confrontation. The people around them sense the shift. Conversations stop. Bodies tense. Hands move toward concealed weapons. Everyone knows what this is. Everyone knows what could happen. Suge Knight steps slightly forward, protective, ready. Puffy does the same on Biggie's side. But both Tupac and Biggie raise their hands. A silent signal. Let us talk. Alone. Tupac walks toward Biggie. His face is stone. No expression. Just those eyes. Those hard, hurt eyes. Biggie does not move. Holds his ground. Waits. When they are 5 feet apart, Tupac stops. For 10 seconds, nothing happens. They just look at each other. Two men who used to be brothers. Who used to dream together. Who used to create together. Now strangers. Now enemies. Finally, Biggie speaks. His voice is quiet, meant only for Tupac. Pac. Man, can we please talk? Really talk? Tupac's jaw tightens. His voice when it comes is controlled. Too controlled. Like a dam holding back a flood. Talk? You want to talk now? Where was the talk when I was on that floor bleeding? Where was the talk when I was in surgery? Where was the talk when I was locked up and you were out here getting rich off my situation? Biggie's face shows pain. Pac, I swear on everything, on my daughter, I had nothing to do with that. I would never. You were my brother. You still are. Tupac steps closer. Now they are 3 feet apart. Don't say that word. Don't call me your brother. Brothers don't set up brothers. Brothers don't stand in the same building while their brother gets shot and act like they don't know nothing. Biggie's voice rises slightly, desperation creeping in. I didn't know. How could I know? I was upstairs recording. I heard shots. I thought it was outside. When you came up in the elevator, I was shocked. I was scared for you. You think I wanted that? Tupac's control starts to crack. You were upstairs? You, Puffy, Andre, all of you just upstairs? And nobody touched you? Nobody ran? The shooters came into the building, shot me 5 times, took my jewelry and just walked past the studio you were in? You expect me to believe that? Biggie spreads his hands. Pac, I know how it looks. I know. But I'm telling you the truth. I was not involved. I would never hurt you. Never. Tupac laughs. It is not a happy sound. It is bitter, broken. You know what hurt Big? It wasn't even the bullets. It was seeing your face when those elevator doors opened. Seeing you standing there. Cling. Safe. Looking at me like you were surprised. But your eyes knew something. I saw it. Biggie shakes his head. You saw what you wanted to see. You were in shock. You were hurt. You needed someone to blame. So you blamed me. But I didn't do it, Pac. Tupac's voice drops to almost a whisper. Then who did, Big? Who knew I was coming to that studio? Who knew exactly when? Who benefited from me being out of the picture? Biggie's face shows frustration. I don't know. Maybe it was random. Maybe it was someone from your past. Maybe it was... Tupac cuts him off. Don't insult me by saying it was random. 5 shots to a specific person in a specific building at a specific time? That's not random. That's planned. That's a setup. And you were there. 3 minutes have passed. The hallway is dead silent. Everyone watching. Everyone knowing they are witnessing something historic. Something that will define hip-hop for decades. Biggie takes a breath. Pac, listen to me. I loved you. I still love you. You were my friend. We came up together. We dreamed together. We talked about changing hip-hop together. I would never betray that. never betray you. I know you're hurt. I know you're angry. But you're angry at the wrong person. Tupac's eyes are wet now. Not crying. Just something. Then help me find the right person. Tell me what you know. Tell me who was around. Tell me something that proves you're not lying. Biggie hesitates. And in that hesitation, Tupac sees confirmation of his suspicions. You know something. I can see it. You know something and you won't tell me. Biggie's voice is pained. Pac, I can't. There are things, street rules, you know I can't. Tupac steps even closer. Now they are inches apart. Street rules? Street rules? They shot me in the head big. 5 times. I could have died. I should have died. And you're talking about street rules? About codes? About not snitching? This is not about snitching. This is about you telling your brother who tried to kill him. Biggie's face hardens slightly. I told you. I don't know who did it. I don't know why. And even if I did know something, you going around New York telling everyone I set you up, that's not how brothers handle things. You should have come to me private. You should have asked me face to face before you went to the magazines, before you started this war. Tupac's control snaps. I was in prison. How was I supposed to come to you? You didn't visit. You didn't write. You didn't do nothing. You just kept recording. Kept performing. Kept getting paid while I was locked in a cage. Don't talk to me about how brothers handle things. You abandoned me. Biggie's voice raises now, emotion breaking through. I didn't abandon you. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to fix it. You already decided I was guilty. Your mind was made up. What was I supposed to do? Tupac points at his own chest where bullets entered. You were supposed to fight for me. You were supposed to find out the truth. You were supposed to be my brother. But instead you chose your career, your safety, your comfort. You chose you over us. The confrontation is escalating. Security on both sides is getting nervous. Hands moving toward weapons. Suge Knight steps forward. Pac, we need to go. This is not the place. But Tupac ignores him. His focus is complete. Total. Biggie says quietly, what do you want from me, Pac? What can I say that will make you believe me? Tupac stares at him for a long moment. I want you to admit it. I want you to tell me the truth. I want you to stop hiding behind street rules and I don't know, and just be real. One time. Just once. Tell me the truth. Biggie meets his eyes. I am telling you the truth. I did not set you up. I do not know who did. I wish I did. I wish I could give you answers. But I can't. And I'm not going to lie and say I was involved just to give you closure. Tupac nods slowly. Then we have nothing else to talk about. He turns to walk away. Biggie reaches out, touches his shoulder. Pac, please. Don't let this destroy what we had. Don't let whoever did this win by turning us against each other. That's what they want. To divide us. To make us enemies. Don't give them that. Tupac looks at Biggie's hand on his shoulder. Then at Biggie's face. For a moment, something flickers in his eyes. Something that looks like doubt. Like maybe, just maybe, he is considering the possibility that Biggie is telling the truth. But then the moment passes. The wall comes back up. Take your hand off me. Biggie removes his hand. Tupac says, you made your choice. You chose your side. Now live with it. But know this, Big. When I come for Bad Boy, when I destroy everything you built, remember this conversation. Remember that I gave you a chance to make it right. And you chose lies over truth. Biggie's face shows pain. Real pain. Pac, don't do this. Please. But Tupac is already walking away. Down the hallway. Back toward Suge. Back toward death row. Back toward war. Biggie stands there, alone now, Puffy and his crew surrounding him. You okay, Big? Puffy asks. Biggie shakes his head. I just lost my brother. Puffy tries to reassure him. You didn't do anything wrong. He's paranoid. He's making up stories. But Biggie is not listening. He is watching Tupac's back disappear around the corner. Knowing that was probably the last real conversation they will ever have. Knowing that whatever happens next will be public, will be violent, will be final. That night, the Source Awards continues. Suge Knight goes on stage, insults Puffy, insults Bad Boy, declares West Coast superiority. The East Coast crowd boos. The tension explodes into shouting matches, near fights. The war is official, public, undeniable. And at the center of it, 2 former friends who could not find their way back to each other. 3 minutes. That is how long the backstage confrontation lasted. 3 minutes where peace was still possible. Where explanations could have been heard. Where belief could have overcome suspicion. But those 3 minutes ended with nothing resolved. with Tupac more convinced of Biggie's betrayal, with Biggie unable to prove his innocence. With both of them walking away toward their eventual deaths. 9 months later, Tupac releases Hit 'Em Up, the most brutal diss track in hip-hop history. He attacks Biggie, Faith Evans Jr., MAFIA, Bad Boy Records, everyone. Claims he slept with Biggie's wife. Threatens violence. Declares war. The song is not just a diss. It is a murder in verse form. It is Tupac burning every bridge, destroying every possibility of reconciliation. And Biggie hears it. Hears his former brother say things that can never be unsaid. Biggie does not respond with a diss track. He cannot. The hurt is too deep. Instead, he just continues making music. Continues living. Continues hoping that somehow, someday Tupac will realize the truth. September 7, 1996. Las Vegas. Tupac is shot 4 times in a drive-by shooting after a Mike Tyson fight. He dies 6 days later. September 13, 25 years old. Biggie is in New York when he hears. He breaks down. Completely. His crew finds him crying. Not just tears. Sobbing. The kind of grief that comes from losing someone you loved and never got to reconcile with. Someone who died hating you for something you did not do. Someone whose last words to you were accusations and threats. Biggie tells his friends, "I never got to make him believe me. He died thinking I betrayed him. And I can't fix that now. I can't ever fix that." March 9, 1997. 6 months after Tupac's death. Los Angeles. Biggie is shot 4 times in a drive-by shooting after a party. He dies immediately. 24 years old. The East Coast-West Coast war claims both of its biggest stars. 2 men who should have changed hip-hop together. Who should have grown old, made music, raised families, become legends side by side. Instead, they died before 26, killed by a war neither of them truly wanted, fueled by a misunderstanding neither could overcome. Years later, people who were backstage that night at the Source Awards tell the story of the confrontation. Different versions. Different details. But they all agree on one thing. Both men were telling the truth as they believed it. Tupac genuinely believed Biggie was involved in his shooting. Biggie genuinely was not. 2 truths that could not coexist. 2 friends destroyed by paranoia, by violence, by a culture that valued loyalty over truth and reputation over reconciliation. Faith Evans, Biggie's widow, speaks about it in interviews. Big loved Pac. Even after everything, even after Hit 'Em Up, he still loved him. He told me the night Pac died that he wished he could have made him understand. That he wished they could have been brothers again. But you can't force someone to believe you. And you can't bring back the dead. Tupac's mother, Afeni Shakur, years later, is asked if she thinks Biggie was involved. She pauses. Then says, "I think my son was in pain. I think he needed someone to blame. I think he chose the wrong person. But I also understand why. When you are shot 5 times and barely survive, when you see people you trusted standing unharmed in the same building, your mind looks for explanations. And sometimes the explanation you find is not the truth. It is just the story that makes the pain make sense." She wipes her eyes. I think if Tupac had lived longer, if he had time to heal, to reflect, he might have realized Biggie was telling the truth. But he did not get that time. And neither did Biggie. The confrontation in that hallway was the last chance. 3 minutes where forgiveness was possible. Where listening could have overcome anger. Where 2 brothers could have found their way back to each other. But those 3 minutes ended in failure. In separation. In war. And the cost was 2 lives. 2 legacies forever linked by tragedy. 2 families forever broken. 2 communities forever scarred. Hip-hop lost its 2 brightest stars not to disease or accident or old age, but to misunderstanding, to pride, to the inability to bridge a gap created by violence neither of them controlled. Today when people talk about Tupac and Biggie, they talk about the beef, the diss tracks, the rivalry. But those who were there, who saw that backstage confrontation, remember something else. They remember 2 men who loved each other trying desperately to find their way back. They remember Biggie's face begging to be believed. They remember Tupac's eyes wanting to believe but unable to. They remember the moment peace died. Not with a gunshot. With a turn back. With unanswered questions. With a hand removed from a shoulder. 3 minutes. That is all it took for everything to end. 3 minutes that could have changed hip-hop history. 3 minutes that haunt everyone who witnessed them. Because in those 3 minutes, 2 brothers became enemies. And 13 months later, both were dead. The confrontation was not caught on camera. No recording exists. Just memories. Just witnesses. Just the weight of what could have been.